meets where minds collide. Annie and Kerrie gonna be your guide. Psychic wonders and spiritual delight will unveil the mysteries in the light. Tune your senses, sharpen your mind. Feel the energy, let your soul unwind. Tarot cards and angels' wings. Sound healing makes your spirit sing. Mind, body, soul connection strong. Find your peace where you belong. Meditate, elevate, discover ways to brighten up your darkest days. Energy flowing through your veins. Unlock your power, break the chains. With Annie and Kerrie on this ride, discover the universe inside. Healing words in crystal glow, guiding through the ebb and flow. Feel the love that we impart. Awaken the magic in your heart. Mind, body, soul connection strong. Find your peace where you belong. Meditate, elevate, discover ways to brighten up your darkest days. Mind, body, soul connection strong. Find your peace where you belong. Meditate, elevate, discover ways to brighten up your darkest days.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello.
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 Hi, Karen. Hi, Sophia. Hello, everyone jumping on.
Hi, Isa.
What a week. What a week we have had.
It's been huge.
Annie and I spent last week up in Harvey
What a year
Bay.
so far.
Yep, with a wonderful time in Harvey Bay. Hello, Ray. Hello, Donna. Two of the beautiful people that we spent time in Harvey Bay with.
Ray had a glorious day. She was doing the painting workshop today, and she put the pictures up.
Oh, nice.
The painting workshop. And she's incorporated this absolutely glorious beach scene into it. So it was spectacular. So she's had a lovely day.
Oh, I
And it
can't
was
wait
lovely
to see
to meet
that.
Donna. And she's a real person. She's not a little single.
I know. I
on
know.
her
That's what was so exciting, meeting everyone in person, not just seeing your little profile pics. Hi, Esther.
So last night, I did
yeah.
psychic stand-up
Yes,
with my
she
son
did.
in the pub. And it was fun.
It was.
It was really
fun.
good fun. Yeah. I don't know if I'll do it again, but it was fun.
Oh, look, I'll say it because Annie won't. She was awesome last night, and of course it was a bit of fun as well. So I will never ever take my son again. For those that were there, they'll know what I'm talking about. Totally
never going anywhere with you again. He was
no. But I do appreciate the way you flipped it around on him. So that's all good. That's all good. And Cole, so nice to have you up front with us tonight, not just bubble girl down the back, in back stalls.
Yeah.
Backstage. And you're wearing the travel
I think I've got my road trip hat on. Yeah, road trip hat with our feathers that we found along the way.
Yeah, well,
So, yeah.
we did a bit of a female version of the Blues Brothers trip on a mission from God.
Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, we just
Yeah, a little bit like
yeah, it did have that feeling of not it had more the Blues Brothers feeling about it, like we were being chased.
Yes,
you
but we'll
know,
fill you all in
you
soon.
know, it was our mission from God at the Blues
Yeah,
Brothers.
that's
We were
it.
saving the orphanage. Yeah, except for the booze and the weed. But yeah, should
So
be fun
Miss
to talk about
Colleen
that
has our
tonight.
meditation tonight.
She does. Hi, Esther. Hi, Sandy.
Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, so Cole, you're going to lead us.
Are you good to go, my lovely?
Yeah.
We'll hand over to you then.
To start. Alrighty, peeps. So I thought, seeing we're going to take you on our magical mystery tour of losing control or giving up control, I thought we should get into that space before we go. So hopefully that you can feel some of the excitement and the miracles that we experienced a little bit on the way. So first of all, just if you can, kick off your shoes and ground your feet. Give yourself a shake. So shake out your legs, your body. Shake out your worries and your doubts. Okay, so breathe in deeply and hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out for 4, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in love. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out ego. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in peace. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out your worries. 3, 4. Breathe in the divine light. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out the evil and dark. 2, 3, 4. On your next breath, grab that divine light and pull it down through your lungs and out into every cell of your body. As it goes, feel it going down through your legs and out through your feet into the ground. Push it out through the ground like energy roots. Picture the roots of a tree and see your energy making its path through the soil. Use the connection to the earth to connect with everyone else in the group tonight. Feel those roots of energy connecting through space and time. Use the group's energy to activate your intuition and give you safety and allow you to experience the journey ahead. So now you're standing on a tarmac alone and you're waiting for your ride to show up. Ask your guides to show you what you need to see and what vehicle you need to take you there. Will they send a car or a plane, a helicopter, a bus, a scooter or a broom? When your vehicle arrives, take the passenger seat. Get comfortable. Look out through the windows. There's several gauges on the control panel. If you're feeling safe and comfortable and your faith is strong, turn all the control panel gauges off. Now you're free falling, no control. Again, ask your guardian to show you what you need to see. This is a journey of faith. Relinquish control and allow your guides to show you what you need to see. Look for the signs and follow your intuition. Let's spend a few minutes to explore your destination and observe as the signs are specifically for you and messages for your future. Remember, it's not what you want, it's what you need. when you're ready, drive back to the tarmac and find the roots of energy and follow them home. Knowing your future is available to you if you can give in to the giving up of control. Allow your intuition into the driver's seat. Your future ahead may not be as you expected, but it's what you need. So let the light direct your path. Come back when you're ready.
Thank
Did
you.
you have a nice trip, Kerrie?
I did. And funny, I was just back in the car with you. And the funny thing was neither one of us was driving.
Well, it kind of felt like that. Was Rod driving?
Yeah,
Rod took
exactly.
the wheel, didn't he?
Rod
He went,
took
you two bozos need to bugger off. I'm taking over.
And Annie, what it made me think of is something that you have been talking about, and I'll leave it to you, your 2 words for this year.
Yeah, my 2 words for this year are surrender and trust. And, it sounds really easy, Kerrie, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like, I've had no problem with it because I'm okay with surrendering. I've given up completely now. And I just trust that I'm going to end up where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
But because I have the capacity to be able to do that, because I've got no control anyway. Yeah. But people who are in control of their life might find that a bit difficult. But it's just like, whatever happens, happens, and it's there for a reason. And I'm just going to run with it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's an adventure.
Speaking of our journey, that was the lesson that we both learned in that. The things that were sent to us. It's like saying, "You think you got control? Well, try this one out, smartass." And next thing you know, we got the petrol gauge.
Yeah.
And then all we could do was sit there and go, "Oh, that was interesting."
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it was very
interesting. That once you do that part, the rest of it was just full of joy because you felt like a 5-year-old again, just without any responsibilities.
Yeah.
So Annie, what vehicle did you get?
Oh, well, I was having a Disney moment because I was in a carriage.
Ah, beautiful.
And
it wasn't a pumpkin
I was
carriage,
just having a Disney moment. The beautiful Cinderella carriage. That was what I was in, but there was no driver. So, I just said to the horses, "Where do we need to go?" And
so the mice didn't turn into horsemen?
No, bugger that. I had nobody driving the sucker. I just had these horses pulling it. But I ended up in this paddock, and I was looking at this house, and it had, it was just like not a big house, a little house, but it had a round turret with round windows, like little portholes. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, that's really cute. I would love that. And when Colleen said, "Come back," I thought, no, I want to go inside.
Yeah.
It's like in there.
Well, I think it's a good one to actually go back to.
Yeah.
Surrender that control to your guides, right? So they're just taking control of whatever vehicle and your horses, and spend a little bit more time in that space. I mean, it's hard for us to do it on these nights to spend that additional time. But I think it's a great one, Cole, to be able to do that. Thank you for that. That was awesome.
I'm going
was
back
really-
and I'm going
Yeah, it
inside
was
that
fun.
wee house. I want to see what that round room looks like.
Exactly.
I need to buy round furniture.
Got homework for tonight then.
You know, it's interesting that you talk about round, Annie, because I was listening to, and I can't even tell you the podcast that I was listening to, but it was talking about how everything in like original architecture had a lot of those curves, had a lot of the round, and it had a lot of different features to it. Whereas we live in boxes now, and those boxes keep us contained, whether it be at work or at home, and that somehow we've got to break out of that box again. So it's interesting that you went to a curved house.
But that's the thing, right? When it's round,
The energy
Yeah.
flows. It doesn't get
When
trapped in
everything's round.
corners.
When everything's square, it's caught in the corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when everything's round, everything
Yeah.
just moves.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'll just say a quick hello to a few more people. So we've said hello to Donna. Hi,
interesting.
Esther. We've talked to Ray. Hi, Ray. Thank you for thanking us for being there. It was our absolute pleasure. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Fiona. Karen's here as well. Hi, Karen. Karen's been getting these most amazing dragonflies at her place that are a totally different colour. They're red. And Karen, today, when I walked outside, a red one flew by. And I really wished I was running to get my camera and it flew off. I didn't get the picture. I was going to send it to you and say, hey, guess what? I got a red dragonfly too.
Do you know why dragonflies have got 4 wings?
I don't think I've seen a red one.
No, it's brand new colours coming through. Yep, sorry.
Dragonflies have got 4 wings because they've got 2 to fly with and 2 to lift you up. And dragonflies, like, they look like fairies. When they stand like that, they've got their little fairy wings.
Yes.
And I never see dragonflies. But my beautiful Elizabeth passed, and Elizabeth was a fairy. So now I've got dragonflies in my yard. And she just, like, pops in. And there was one on my fence, and it just stayed there while I had a chat to it. And there was one upstairs. So they're kind of arriving. I haven't seen a red one yet, though.
Well, I'm gonna say watch out
beautiful.
tomorrow. I think your red one's coming.
Hi, Anessa.
Hi, Anessa. Thank you for
There's no such
joining
thing
us.
as late. Perfectly on time.
Yes. Okay, so I suppose we should get started because this was such an exciting journey that we are super excited to share this all with you. So I'm just going to add this to the stage. So we called this, oh, hang on, let me get rid of that banner so that you can see it. Oh, okay. So, there you go. Fiona's sign from her mother-in-law is a dragonfly. There you go.
They look like fairies.
Yeah. So we had to call this
Beautiful.
Energy Trails and Universe Tales. And that's really what it was. And it definitely was a journey of trust, signs, and light, because we definitely had to hand everything over to the universe for this. And the first thing that sort of led us with this was the divine timing of it all, because originally I was going to head down a fortnight earlier, and they were the original dates. Now, when I went to book it, all of a sudden the app opened, and I don't even know how it opened, with the weather. And I thought, I better check Sydney weather, down the coast. That's a good idea. And it told me it was going to be thunderstorms and horrible for the next 10 days. So I contacted Colin and I said, look, this is a forecast. I think we might need to postpone it by a fortnight. Now, interestingly about that, the beautiful Sophia, who I'm sure I've seen on here tonight, she and I had already talked about going
Yep, she's the first one on tonight.
Yep, going to do a journey to what I call my mountain, right? Now I know it's Flinders Peak, but it's my mountain because I connect and meditate with it every night. Right? So we decided to do that journey. And oh my gosh, I never knew I could actually rally drive down dirt roads in my tiny little, I've got a tiny little Toyota hatch. But we did okay. We got out the other side and we didn't even blow a tire. So that's okay. But when we went to the mountain, the first place that we went to, we actually stopped and we looked, and there was the biggest, most beautiful tree there, which we both commented on how beautiful the tree was. But the road to the mountain was actually closed, right? So we couldn't go the most easiest route to the mountain. So then we thought, okay, the mountain is, all the way around. We've got to be able to find another spot to get in. So we decided to drive around the mountain to the other side and go in that way. Well, we tried, but everything was dirt roads, private property. There'd been a lot of rain up here. We did water crossings. We went over the sides of little hills to get around it in case there was potholes in the middle. We had four-wheel drives looking at us like we were absolutely stupid crazy driving down these dirt roads around the mountain. But the whole time, and if Sophia's in here, she can probably comment on it too, we could feel the energy of the mountain. Anyway, the funny thing about this trip is we basically circled the entire mountain and ended up back at the tree where we started. And when we got back to the tree, we planted our seeds of light there and we connected, both of us, with this tree. So we're connecting with the tree. And first I was using my right hand in giving to the tree and asking the tree to take this energy, take the intent of the seed of light and share it with everything. And then all of a sudden I felt like I had to change hands, the receiving hand, right? So I put my left hand on the tree and I just heard, I've got this. And all of a sudden I just saw like a network of light going down under the ground through the roots, going from tree to tree, like it was being communicated from one tree to the next until it rose up and lit up the mountain in front of us. And I'm sort of saying, Sophia, change hands, put your left hand on. And she got exactly the same thing. I hadn't even told her what I'd seen at that point. So it was like we had to circle the mountain to do this. And that was, I guess, and I was saying to Sophia, I hope she realizes how important she was as a catalyst to say, hey, how about we go for a trip to your mountain? Because that was a learning in following the energy, trusting the energy, and you're always going to end up where you need to be. But somehow we needed to circle the mountain and feel the energy before we could do it. So that was sort of a bit crazy. So we did that in the 2 weeks beforehand. So anyway, when I went down, and this is something a little bit sad, is that my Uncle Frank, who was 97, had a fall. And he'd had an operation and he wasn't too well from that operation. So just the timing of when I went down gave me the opportunity to be able to say goodbye to him. And that was super important at that point. So I was really glad that I got that opportunity. When Colleen then came over to my brother's place to pick me up, and you might want to share this bit, Cole, what happened next?
Well, I'm driving from one side of Sydney to the other, our traffic, and I look down at my control panel and I have no fuel gauge, completely nothing. It was not moving. It was right down. I know I filled up the tank and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Smart person might pull over. Yeah, but I'm not that smart. So I just kept driving and I figure, well, I'll pick Kerrie up you know, and we'll see how it goes. I know I just filled the tank, so we're right. We'll just fill the tank as we go down the coast. So got there, told Kerrie about. We both just went, that's interesting. And we didn't think of it again. So the next day we get up and we're, you know, heading down the coast. Completely didn't even think about the fuel gauge. And it wasn't till later in the day, like at 5 o'clock that night, when we pulled in at Gerringong, and I looked down and I said, Kerrie, the fuel gauge is working.
So
there, it
right
just
from the
packed up
very
and showed us how much
beginning,
petrol we had. It was the most bizarre. It was my lesson, because I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
Right?
And so right from the very beginning, we were being tested. We were being tested to, could we actually trust? Just put trust in everything that's going to be all right. So we're being tested straight away. So we start to head down. So everything was about.
And we did get supplies, Kerrie.
Yes. Yes, we did. So on the way down,
we did get supplies. We got a travel hat.
Yes.
And ponchos.
Yes.
That's our supplies. And a ski for the milk and coffee.
And that was it. That was our prep. So everything on that trip was definitely about the divine timing of when we were meant to go. And this will come into play shortly again. So as we were driving down, I can't even remember exactly where we were, but we were driving past and we saw an old cemetery.
We went down Bulli Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, well, gee, that's a really old cemetery. And the next thing you know, Colleen goes, let's just go there. So she pulled around the corner, didn't you, Cole? And we pulled into this cemetery.
Pulled straight in.
And when we went into the cemetery, we were looking at the different headstones. And I also just, in airplane mode on my phone, have an app that just plays white noise. So we did ask if anyone wanted to speak to us there, and we did have some spirit voices come through. So that's a nice validation in what I'm hearing and getting, but to confirm it through that as well, through what was coming through. And what was interesting with that was that one of the headstones that we looked at had the surname of Coluccio. Now that blew my mind, because my cousin's married name is Coluccio, and it's her father that was my uncle that was unwell, and I went to see him. And I went, here's a sign and a synchronicity, you know, that all will be well.
And we were talking a lot about Uncle Frank.
Yes, we were. And then we walked further around. Now, I don't know if you can read these very well on the screen, but one of these headstones is Domenico. That is my father's name. And the other one is Jessipina. And Jessipina, or Auntie Pina, was Uncle Frank's wife. Now, what was interesting about seeing these headstones was that the region that they came from in Italy was Reggio Calabria. And that is where my Uncle Frank and my dad and my Auntie Eugenia were born. So again, we had a second synchronicity to that. So we spoke to them when we said, hi, this is who we are. You know, you may know my Uncle Frank, because we looked at the dates, you know, and said, you might know my Uncle Frank. He might be joining you again soon. And their response was, Colleen, response was,
what was it? He's welcome. He's welcome.
He's welcome. And we're waiting.
Welcome, yeah.
And celebration. And that was a beautiful reminder.
And we said, may be joining you soon.
Yeah.
And they said he's
And that
welcome.
was a beautiful reminder that whilst we grieve on this side, when we return to in our spirit form back to source, everyone there celebrates. So that was a good reminder. Sadly, my Uncle Frank did pass later that afternoon. But it was a very comforting feeling to know that there was a big community waiting for him. And in particular, my dad and his wife and his sister and lots of people that he knew as a child from that area and all throughout his life. So that was a beautiful sign and synchronicity. Ah, there you go, Simone. Your father is from Reggio Calabria too. Well, there you go. Another synchronicity.
Another synchronicity.
Yeah, yeah. So that was quite interesting.
Okay.
From there, we made our way down to Gerringong. Over to you, Cole.
Yes. Well, and we stayed with my beautiful school friend Robin, who graciously welcomed us into her home and fed us her beautiful organic food that she grows herself. And we met her lovely man, Steve. And they took us off. Robin had mentioned the week before that they do this community. A lot of them are in the health profession. And they do these. And she said, oh, I've got a soil guy and a water guy coming to the talk, and it's the night that you turn up. And I went, oh, well, it looks like we're going, right? And I think we'll go. Like, everyone there's going to be really nice, which they were. The topic, well, we'll see when we get there. And we were really well welcomed, felt very comfortable, and then the talking start. And I got to tell you, it's still ringing in my head and I still can't process it. I don't have that many brain cells, but the connection between what with their scientific work around water and soil regeneration, etc. This was it, Francois?
Yeah, so Francois Catneil, his name was. Yeah. He did this incredible presentation.
This beautiful.
There you go. Yeah, so it was on biogeometry
it was
and
mind-blowing.
biodynamics. It was mind-blowing. So he uses pendulums. Now, if you can see that pendulum closest to where we are, it has something in the center that by moving up and down on that pendulum, you can actually change the frequency. And I'm going, you're kidding me, because those who know what I do and what I love is energy work with frequency. And it was just absolutely amazing. And what they were doing was that they were showing us all about the different studies that they've been doing with higher harmonics. And in the higher harmonic, so what they call the gold plane, right, of that frequency, ultraviolet, which is the angels, gold being divine wisdom, and the green. But they also warned us about negative green. So if you're working with a pyramid, guys, it's good to have a break somewhere in that bottom section where it's a square and the pyramid's coming down, to have a break somewhere or something that blocks it on a horizontal part way down to break up the energy. And that's because if you sit right beneath the green, it can dehydrate you from the negative green. And this is what's been coming out of these studies. Now, I don't want to go into it too much more. With some luck, did have a bit of a chat to Francois about our live streams, and we're going to try and organise to get him on as a guest speaker a bit later this year. So I will let him explain all of this to us, because I'm still
Oh, it was
processing
amazing.
it. It was mind blowing, but it was also incredible to see the use of pendulums, not just as a divination tool, but in the use of frequency and healing. Now, interestingly, they did not use crystals for frequency. They actually used bronze.
I
Okay?
was going to ask you if what that pendulum was made of,
It's bronze.
because it looks silver.
Yeah. Well, the one on this side, it was just a black
The
and
other
white
one's
photo.
bronze, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a black and white photo. But if you look at the one on the other side, you can see that it's bronze. Yeah. And they use it for also balancing the energy.
So the
and
markings on it are all the different colours.
Yeah. So
And is that
again,
the different frequencies?
different frequencies. Yeah.
So
as you move
like
up and down. Yep. Different frequencies.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So remember that, because that comes up in the neck in a couple of screens too when we get to 7 Mile Beach.
Yeah. About the ley lines.
So that went there, that ley line. Yeah.
So once again, talk about divine timing. Had that trip occurred the 2 weeks earlier, would have also not been there on the exact night that they were doing all this information on energy frequency. So both light frequency and sound frequency would have missed it, you know. So again, the divine timing was just incredible. So that was like
it's
just
what we needed, not what we wanted.
Exactly. So it was so great to meet a group of like-minded people contributing to the raising of consciousness and the healing of the planet, coming at it from a whole different perspective, and seeing once again how everyone has a little piece that when you come together as a community brings everything together. So it was just mind blowing. But hopefully we'll get Francois on, Annie, later in the year. So I've got all his contact details. He said he'd be open to coming on. It's just all about timing, because he does go overseas a lot. But if you have a look back at this slide and you look up his name and you look up Dr. Ibrahim Karim and the studies he did in Egypt, if you're really interested, you'll be able to see through more of those studies. It was just incredible.
Be prepared, but it will blow your mind.
Yes, it will. It will. So that brings us to the next day and the beautiful, beautiful 7 Mile Beach. And Colleen, handing over to you for this one.
Yeah. Okay, so this is one of my picks. This is probably one that, we didn't leave this up to faith because it's just down the road from Rob's house. But a couple of years ago, I don't know if the group remembers, we had a Good Morning Grandfather-Son ceremony on this beach under the direction of Uncle Max, who was 88 or 89 at the time. And he thought he was coming down because that's normally what he got. And my girlfriend, Rob, who's awesome, had 500 people turn up for it at 4:30 in the morning. So this beach that we're standing on, it was just smack bang crowded full of people at 4:30 in the morning. And then later we had a smoking ceremony, and the whole day was extremely powerful. And it felt significant. I really felt like something wasn't there. So I was eager to get back and have a look and have a feel for the area. And we certainly got our money's worth, didn't we, Kerrie?
We certainly did.
We thought we'd plant a seed there. And then I said, well, why don't we, your rods and find out, because I don't know, which tree. It's full of trees. It's beautiful, full of trees. But then we thought we'll ask some questions of the rods. Uncle Max, are you here? And we got a really hard yes. Are you glad? Do you remember me? And we got a yes. And the ceremony we had there a couple of years ago with all of those people, did it change anything significantly? And it was a really hard yes, wasn't it? And then they started helicoptering the rods.
Yeah, super excited.
And Kerrie had her white
Noise, yeah.
meter on, and we're hearing joy, 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 joy. And oh, look, I ended up a bawling mess. It was so powerful. We also then asked for permission to, you know, could we plant the seed? And Kerrie, what did you ask Uncle Max about the veil?
Yeah, I asked him. Interestingly, Uncle Max, just from what Cole had told me in past conversations, had mentioned that he knew he wouldn't be here for too much longer, that he had important work to do also from the other side. And it was to do with helping raise the consciousness of the planet. So I asked Uncle Max,
as an Aboriginal elder.
Yeah, as an Aboriginal elder, does he feel, as we do, that the veil at the moment between our two worlds is very thin? And he agreed with that. And then through the spirit box came the word in a very deep Indigenous voice, ascension. And I don't know if you can feel it now. I've just got goosebumps again.
I've
but
got the chills now.
Total shivers. Yeah. Total shivers at that point. It was incredible. Yeah. And
we were kind of bursting out of our skin too. Like it was, yeah.
So with permission, he actually, through the rods, guided us, you know, following them by the direction, and then across directly where he wanted us to plant the seed of light. And it was just such a moving time. And we also asked him that Robin and a group of their friends had actually been down to do some energy work in that area as well to help rebalance the ley lines in that area. And we also asked him, was he aware of that work and did it assist with the area? And again, we got yes and the ascension. So, oh my gosh, I'm shivering all over again just thinking about this. And we're thinking, here we are, we're sort of on day one of our journey, and mind blown before we even started. It was crazy. So from there, we decided, okay, well, the rods seem to be working really well, and we have no idea where we're going to go next. We are literally learning to hand over control, to surrender to whatever happens, totally trust the universe. So rods, or as Colleen was lovingly calling him, or whoever the guide was that guiding us along the way, Rod, we're next. And they became our GPS system. So we're in the car and we're going along, and I won't get them out yet. And we're going along, and they're we're going along, they're pointing straight ahead, and all of a sudden they'll go, turn left. We go, okay, next intersection, we've got to turn left. And so basically we're following the rods through to a point where we had no idea where we were, absolutely none. And some of you might have seen the little video that we did at the end going, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe what just happened. So have a look at some of the short videos that we've done, because, you know, we're trying to share little bits along the way. So we're following the rods, and they did a right, but it was not enough notice for Colleen to be able to take that corner in a residential area. So we went past it, and so the rods went forward again and did a slight turn, took us into where a boat ramp was, and then started whirly-birding. And then Colleen said to me, is that Rod's version of the GPS telling us to do a U-turn? So we soon learned.
A U-turn.
Or the U-turn, do a U-turn. It was so funny. So we
And
did.
so I had a bit of an argument with Rod.
Yes.
And I said, Rod, come on, mate. Like, fair's fair. Give me some warning.
Yeah.
So after we left there, he was like the rods are literally showing a curve in the road before I even turned the steering wheel for the curve, like before we could see
Yes.
it. So
We're,
he was showing me. I thought,
we're total
going, oh, Rod, you're a
smartasses.
smart ass. Like, it was
Anyway,
hilarious.
so
It was
we
so
do
much
this.
fun, too.
It was fun. It was lots of fun. So we did this U-turn, and then it went the opposite way. It said, okay, now you're turning this way, which was the same street it pointed to before. But we're in a suburban street. And Colleen said to me, if Rod points to a house, are you going to go and knock on the door and say, I don't know why I'm here, but the energy's brought me here, so I need to have a conversation with you?
Rod sent me.
Rod sent me. I said, well, I don't know. I guess we have to because we're totally surrendering. And then all of a sudden, this happened. It opened up to a most beautiful community garden. And that's where it pointed to. So we walked across.
Like a type, like small.
Yeah. Maybe the size of 2 average house blocks in the shape of a boomerang.
House blocks, yeah.
And
like somebody's backyard.
And we had to go and Google search where we were and look for it. Colleen did take the brochure, but we can't find it. But what was crazy is Colleen picked up the brochure about the place, and the first line in the brochure, Colleen.
Mm-hmm.
Over to you.
Was that he, a guy, well, yeah, so a guy travelled up to northern Queensland and brought back some seeds. And the seeds he brought back, he knew he had to plant at Shellhaven.
Yeah. And
so, you know, like it, and where we were there to plant a seed.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going, oh,
so again,
come on. Like, this is ridiculous. Yes, we're planting a seed.
So he had to plant a special seed there, and we were directed to plant a special seed there. So we actually had lots of fun.
And I've got to tell you, we searched for I searched for about 2 hours to track this down. We didn't have a suburb to go by. We literally had no idea. And then when we looked it up on the map, we're directly in line with Gerringong, and we're probably within 20 k's, like not that far from it. And yet it took us hours to get there. Like it was like a time warp.
Yes. Yeah, it was definitely like a time warp.
Really interesting.
And in trying to find the place, I thought that because I'd taken a photo there, it might tell me on the phone the geographical location in the metadata. It didn't, but what it did show me is that that video was taken. We arrived there at 111. So if you can see that.
111.
Yeah, 111. So again, you know, all the signs and synchronicities and everything that was happening. So once again, we used the rods. Yes, south of Jiroa, Gerringong. Have you ever been there, Fiona?
Fiona, it is south of Gerringong.
Yeah. Wonder if you've ever been there. So we had lots of fun there. And again, the rods took us along the journey and showed us exactly where to plant it. Now, what I found interesting is everywhere that had this beautiful, beautiful energy to it, and it was taking us to like the biggest tree in the area and directing us to plant it near the trees, which more and more and more was showing us the synchronicity of the connection with Mother Earth, and that we all have this energy connection with all living things, and that their root system can also help spread the light at the equinox to direct it out across the area. So it was just it really was a magical mystery tour. Now, Colleen did kiss the frog. It didn't turn into a prince. And I decided I might have a little rest on some.
Nope, but he was certainly hard.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. So, so from
You're the midget
there,
on the chair.
I'm the midget on the chair. My feet came nowhere near the edge at all. Yeah. So from there, again, the rods being our GPS headed us towards Jarvis Bay. Now, and Hyams Beach. Now, I'm not going to go into too much of this because we will not ever put energy into things. And I'm not even going to tell you where it was exactly. But there were times through this journey where we went to those beautiful botanical
We felt
gardens.
uncomfortable and moved on.
Yes. And then there were times where we were directed to an area that had dense, heavy energy. It just felt heavier and it needed the light. But in those circumstances, it's like get in, do what you have to do, and get out. Whereas other places were very much enjoy the space that you were in, you know. So Hyams Beach was absolutely beautiful, again, connecting with the trees in the area. You know, we just got to experience both the hinterland, the mountains, and the beautiful ocean. And the contrast and the connection between those two energies was amazing. But again, we had no idea where we were heading to from there, did we, Cole? So back in the car. And then...
No, but we were just given the message, look out. So we didn't go down to the beach. We tried to find somewhere to look out.
Yes.
And we did. We stayed at the top, and that's the views from the top.
And it became part of our lesson.
Why are we here?
Yeah, part of our lesson in learning to actually look out and connect with the area that we were in. And you'd be attracted to some things. They just shone brighter than other things. And it was teaching us along the way, whilst we're still using the rods at this point, how to follow the energy and trust the energy and the signs and the synchronicities along the way. So then it decided to take us along all these streets, up and down and around in circles. And there were these giant ghost gums on both sides of the road. And we thought, why you sort of, like, you've done so well, you've taken us almost on a direct route, right, to where we needed to go. Why are we going in circles around the ghost gum trees? And this was a lesson in the importance
and they
of
were
having...
beautiful. Like, it was beautiful.
Yeah, that importance of having a conscious conversation. And then all of a sudden, Colleen told me the most beautiful story, which she's going to share with everyone now.
Okay, so the week before, as I'm, sitting at home going through goes a story, and I won't get it word for word because my memory's not that good, but it showed, I think it's an elm tree. It was an American guy doing it, but they look kind of similar to the ghost gums, just not as magnificent as an Australian ghost gum. But he was saying, and he showed, like, you can see on this picture that Kerrie's got up now, where it's lost a limb or it's been scarred. And there was a notch on the bottom of this one, and he said, important fact is the branches of a tree don't grow upwards with the body of the tree. That's kind of the level they're born at, is where they kind of stay at. But, they lose limbs. And when they lose limbs, there's a wound there. And when the wound is fresh, it comes out and the tree. Over time, the pain of that loss helps the tree, head up to the light to grow. And over time, that wound it gets covered in bark, and you can see that there's a wound there, but it gets healed and the tree moves on and becomes a man. And then he made the comment, so we need to be like the tree, that we get hurt, we get injured mentally, physically, spiritually, we lose limbs, we lose jobs, we lose whatever. But if we can learn to be like the tree and bleed for the loss, let it scab up, let it cover up, and eventually that loss will make you stronger wherever it's covered for. I'm telling Kerrie the story, and we're looking at the notches where we can see there's been some trauma to the tree. And then Kerrie turns around to Rod and says, "Hey Rod, is that why we came here, for that story?" And we got a strong yes. And we went, wow, next thing he's taken us out of there.
And then straight out to where we needed to go. And then
he's correcting us.
We thought, no, we needed to listen to
circles
that story
around this place. So it's getting late.
Yeah.
Just remember that we hadn't booked any accommodation or anything either. So it's getting later in the afternoon, or so we thought. As you can tell, it was only 11 minutes past 1. But it felt like about 4 o'clock, didn't it, Kerrie?
Yeah.
And we're getting really tired, and we're going, oh. For tonight, look on Trafalgar and find us a place for the night. She goes, but where are we? I don't even know where to put it in. And it was just getting really messy. So
it was. But it was such
on the next slide.
It was such a beautiful story, and understand that conscious conversation that, everything in life is about the growth and about, yes, things happen, let it heal over, and then you grow in a whole new direction. And it was such an important story. But to see how excited the Rods were doing the helicopters, that we finally got it was trying to prompt Colleen the whole time. You're looking at these trees, you just read the story, spit it out. It was just funny. So again,
and the funny thing is, I tried to find that story. It would be, I've tried to find the story just so I could make sure I retold it correctly. And I searched for about 4 hours today. I can't find it anywhere. So, obviously I was meant to put my own spin on it because I couldn't find the original, but everything kept coming back to trees. And I think that's significant along the way, because without trees, we don't breathe.
Yep. And how connected we really are. And you know what? We're going to have to speed this up. Annie, you were meant to use like a safe word to tell us to move on quickly.
Yeah, next slide.
Pineapple. Next. It's so interesting.
I thought it
was. So then we were looking for somewhere to stay. And what we hadn't realised is that New South Wales was still on school holidays, so everything was booked out. And Colleen was saying she really, really wanted to visit this place called the Congo, where she went as a child to get some photos for her beautiful parents. And we said, let's try and find the Congo. And what we found, I'm looking up for accommodation near me, because we had no idea really where we were at the time. And it brought up this little pub at Moruya.
We didn't know where we were, so.
Yeah, Moruya. So anyway, we booked in there, and it was lovely and clean, well looked after, little old country pub. And we went in and they said, right, now this key, we all go home at such and such a time. This key will get you out the front door, in the front door, out the back to the beer garden. Like, we had the master key to the pub. It was crazy. And we had basically the whole pub to ourselves when everyone went home that night.
It was empty.
It was. So we were looking, and we had a shared room, but of course in the pubs they're the shared bathrooms. So we were just having a look, and they had pictures on the wall, because I think it was originally a gold miners used to stay there, and then it was later on that it became this pub. And Colleen's looking at the picture of everyone on the wall initially. And we were thinking about, yeah, we've got this shared
It was an
bathroom.
old school 6.
Yeah. And so we'd put our bags away upstairs, and we'd gone downstairs to the beer garden. We'd gone and got not like this pizza or something for dinner, and we were sitting in the beer garden outside. And I said to Cole, you know what? There is a suite upstairs. It's called the Heffernan Suite. And we've got the master key. So we could always go and use the bathroom in there. And Cole's saying, no, that's one of the guys in the photo from downstairs. I'm not going in there. He's probably haunting in the room. And I said, I hate to tell you,
It's
my
a dead
friend.
man's suite.
I hate to tell you, my friend, but this whole pub's haunted if you haven't worked it out yet. So then we're having a bit of a laugh about that.
And I said, well, they can leave me alone. I'm tired.
So whilst we're eating the pizza, I was saying to Nicole, actually, Heffernan's interesting because there's a friend of my sister's who lives at Pambula Beach who I was going to contact, but I haven't actually seen her since my sister's funeral. And one of her, I believe her sister married another person that we like, Tony Heffernan. Now, you know when you're a kid and you have a crush on one of your brother or sister's friends? Well, he was the person I had the crush on. And my sister did me a solid when she got married and made him my partner in the wedding party. So we were just having a laugh about this. And then Colleen said, well, actually, I was looking at it because you went to school with someone who was named Heffernan. So we had this whole conversation
He now
about
lives at Gerringong. Yes.
Yeah. So it was all interconnected that we're having this conversation. Now, interestingly enough, this will come into play later down the track. All right, so we're going to move on now. Oh, hang on a minute. I've now got to remove this one and put this one up. Okay.
And our next
So we're moving on from Marua.
destination
So the
is
next morning,
Congo.
just coffee and beautiful, beautiful reflections on the water there. So just able to connect with that area. And then we moved on to Congo. Over to you, Con.
Which is a camping ground it's about 8 k's out of Maria, and it used to be down a dirt track with, pit toilets, and he has been going there since my grandfather was small. I used to go down there and get food, basically fishing and rabbiting to feed the families during the Depression. So my dad's been going there as a kid, and then we went there as kids. So it has it was probably the best 6 weeks of my life every year because my dad worked non-stop during the year to be able to do this for us. So when I was there, my dad had a car accident and lost been back there since, and I was 17. So it was really important that I needed to tap in and feel the energy there. And it was beautiful, wasn't it, Kerrie? It's
really
changed a little bit. There is real toilets there now and showers, but the rest of it's still very much in its original state, to be honest.
Yeah,
it
was
the pit toilet or the toilets that don't smell like they used to. It was just beautiful and lots of good memories. Changes taken place, which is important as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we were also on a story of Mary, who apparently died off the heads there after a boating accident or whatever, and she was buried up on the headlands. So every time we go there as kids, we'd be fed the story. Mary's grave's up there. Don't disturb kids. We went up there every year trying to find this grave, which we never did. And I was telling Kerrie about it, and I went, well, maybe we should ask Rod if Mary's still hanging around. So this is Kerrie with Rod in her hands.
Yeah, so first we thought, let's plant a seed of light in honour of this beautiful area and all the memories there. So this is where we're sort of following the rods. The rods took us in a certain direction and we planted the seeds of light there. And there is a video about this, but we won't do the video on here tonight. Yep. But then we decided to ask, didn't we? And then we got out the white noise again and we asked about Mary. Yeah. That was, do you want to say what happened?
Yeah, it was gone. Mary's gone. Mary's gone. And then we said, oh, well, we just wanted to make sure because, you know, as a kid we were told all about Mary. And we got back beautiful woman gone. So that was interesting enough where we were shown to plant hill at the back of the camping ground. And on top of the hill is where the general, as far as I knew, because I never found it, where the grave was. When I told Mum and Dad, they said actually where you were standing is probably directly under where Mary was buried. So I thought that was a bit interesting.
And again,
and it's all residential up there now.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, it was a lot of Aboriginal. The only thing I can describe it as people talking over the white light box. It was very much an Indigenous voice, wasn't it, Kerrie? And it had the sound of Indigenous language, and it felt quite beautiful. Like it felt really calm and beautiful, like they were just saying hello.
And
so,
I think,
yeah, it was an interesting sight.
Was Mary
an Indigenous lady?
No, she wasn't. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. We don't really know.
So. But
yeah,
what was really nice, Annie, about it all,
mid-1800s.
Yeah, was the permission that we were being given along the way, and that the whole time you're part of this bigger plan, and you're being directed by the energy, and you're being given permission to do it.
But when you think about it, all of the Indigenous tribes across the world, like the Inuits and our Indigenous first peoples here, their connection to the earth was what kept them alive. And I think with us having moved so far into what I would call busyness rather than busyness, it's that busyness. It's when you lose your connection to the earth. So when you completely unplug and connect back in, that's when all this glorious stuff happens.
Exactly.
You know, so it doesn't surprise me that you were being led to all these
and you
incredible places and showing all.
Well,
that
they lived on the
stuff.
earth. We live on concrete.
Yeah.
And further up, like Fiona said, when you were talking about the trees, I think it was Fiona said that they're the guardians of the earth because they are our oxygen supply. You know, so they are the guardians of the earth. So I'm not surprised that you got pulled towards. I love trees. Absolutely love trees. And I'm not surprised that you got pulled into the energy of the trees. And you know something with these big giant trees, especially, you know, the red gums, the big giant ones in America, I'm sure it's just a feeling, but you know, my cognitive shit, that's how I feel things. I'm sure that you find these huge, enormous red gums on ley lines because it's their job to protect the ley lines and their root systems. Like the ley lines have got their own root systems that fly through, but I think the trees cover and protect the ley lines.
Yes.
I've always thought that. I've got this weird connection with trees.
And it felt like that.
The interesting thing about Annie is when we were talking.
Go on, Cole.
So, like about what we were going to. I said to Kerrie, you know, when we before and when we had the tree story and everything, not once did we get an inclination to plant a seed there. It just never passed our minds. And I just, looking back, there were certain places where it didn't come to us. We weren't told to plant one there. And others, like here, it was like, oh yeah, let's plant a seed.
Yeah.
So it was
interesting. And
really
something we talked about the other day too when we were looking at the map.
That's the way it felt.
Is where are the ley lines, and is that why certain places we didn't need to plant a seed, whereas other places we were instructed to plant one?
Yeah,
so
because
it's
the energy's there.
Yeah.
The energy's
so it's
there.
really interesting
So it
to
doesn't
go
need
back.
it.
Yeah.
So if you put if we put our star seeds where the ley lines aren't, it lights up, because the ley lines are lit up anyway.
Yeah.
But the light should come out and hit the star seeds.
Yeah, so it was just interesting. So yeah, looking at all of that. So from this, now this particular day, we were told no more rods. We weren't allowed rods anymore. We had to go on signs and synchronicities. The guides were not letting us use the rods. So from here, we had to go on.
And we were exhausted.
Energy. Yeah, what is actually lighting up, really feeling the energy, what's a sign and what's a synchronicity. And interestingly, from here, when we left here, we were talking again about my Uncle Frank and my dad and Reggio, because we had heard that Uncle Frank had passed. And we were talking about some stories, and I was talking about the cherry tree back in their hometown, that they used to have to sit and guard at night. And Izza, if you're on here, your naughty dad, Uncle Rock, who wasn't my uncle at the time, but they all lived in the same area, who wasn't married to my Auntie Eugenia then. My dad and Uncle Frank fell asleep under the cherry tree, and Uncle Rock stole all the cherries, and they got in lots and lots of trouble. And we were just laughing about, you know, all of these times. And then a beautiful Uncle Rock ended up marrying my dad's sister and all Australia, and, you know, so it was all good in the end, right? But we were just laughing about these times. And then the next thing you know, along the road, cherries this way, cherries this way, cherries this way. And we went, well, there's our sign.
Cherries that way.
So we followed the cherries and we ended up discovering a place called Narooma.
It was a very signy sign.
It was a very signy sign. So it was always interesting that we just talk about something and then there's the next thing. So it's paying attention. And we discovered this beautiful place called Narooma. So by this time, we just pulled in on a little side street. We really needed coffee. We didn't end up getting coffee. We ended up getting like energizer juices and cleanser juices and this beautiful jar. And we thought the water was across from us and it was all beautiful. You had the water on one side, you had the mountains on the other. And we thought, oh, this is a nice spot just to stop for a minute. So we walked across the road towards where the water was, and we could hear music in the distance. So you can hear this guy go, yep, let's follow the music. That sounds good. We'll go and sit there. And you wouldn't believe it. We found a spot where there was feathers in a complete circle. So we plonked ourselves down in the middle of those feathers and had our juices, listened to the music, and just connected with the area. Just for a little while. So then we thought, well, this might be a really nice place to stay. Maybe we should get ahead of ourselves and see if there's somewhere to stay tonight, right? So it looked really full. There was all cabins and camping grounds and a whole range of things. It looked really full because it was still school holidays
People
down there.
everywhere.
And we thought, but why don't we just go to the office and ask? You know, we can only ask. So we went in and the manager said, well, we are very full and we only do a minimum of 3 night stays. So we said, oh, well, that's okay. You know, we were just really drawn here by the energy, and we've been on this journey and we're sort of telling him what we were doing. And then all of a sudden he went, just a minute. And he looked at something on his computer. He said, I'm the manager here. I can override this. And he gave us one night at a really good price, didn't he, Cole? Now, what ended up crazy about this is I've got a couple of photos here. So if you see the bottom one on the right, I hope it's your right-hand side too, right-hand side, you'll see where the car was parked. And it's pointing direct towards the cabin that I've just got a bit bigger up there. The car was pointing at the cabin that he gave us for the night where we had parked. It could not have been any closer.
Yeah, number 4.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then the code that we had was, you know how we always talk about 369 and the 369 connection. The code was a variation 693. So we just went, we've had feathers, we've got the car pointing at the cabin. Right. This is definitely the place we were meant to stay.
Yeah.
So we dropped off a few things there, and then we head back on our way to our next point. Did you have something you wanted to add, Cole?
Where'd you go next?
Just about the 2 nights. The 2 nights accommodation that we got, all we asked for was somewhere quiet and safe. Yes. And there was nobody in Kui on that line there. There was no one in the cabins around us. Then the hotel room, there was except us. Yeah. So we got safe. We got quiet. We got clean. Got exactly what we needed.
Yeah. It was just
and then we hit the road again.
And then we hit the road again. So we weren't staying there yet. We kept heading south. And we really just following signs and synchronicities. So we're heading south and we go into this town that we get very much pulled to. And so we're going into the town and we're sort of driving around the town. We're going, energy is a little bit heavier here, but we definitely need to do something here. And then we're coming down the street, we saw this archway and we just both looked at each other and went, I think that's where we need to go. So we pulled up and we walked over, and now let's go back to the Heffernan story and the confirmation of this is exactly where we'll need to be. So this was actually a war memorial site here. And as we walked over in the archway, they have the names of the fallen soldiers from that area. And the name went Heffernan. Heffernan. Went, well, we found the right spot. So we went in and there was this huge tree in the center.
Yeah. For every wall, there was multiple Heffernans. So it's like this huge clan of Heffernans down there just jumping at us going, put your seed here, plant the seed here. So we did.
So we connected with this beautiful tree. You can see there's also a circular bench that was around it. And we planted another seed of light there and asked the tree, and with our beautiful intent to help raise the consciousness of the planet and to heal Mother Earth. And then we asked the tree to assist by using its roots and sending it out all over this area to help raise the energy of the area. And this was a place where we needed to do what we needed to do and go again. So that was one we moved on from fairly quickly. And then as we're driving out, I said, Colleen, I just heard look out. And I don't know whether it means look out because you're going to see something, or look out, like look out for a lookout. We weren't sure which one. So as we started to head, at this point we knew sort of mission was over, and we were heading back towards Narooma at this point. And we went around the bend and there was a sign that said, look out. So up we went to the lookout, and we were having beautiful, beautiful mountain views. And it was our guide saying to us, you know what, now we're going to give back to you. This is your time just to sit in the grass, to recharge, to connect with that beautiful mountain energy that's all around you as a bit of a thank you. for everything that you've done. But there was also a lesson in here as well. Where we were for this view, you could look back down towards the town that we felt had heavier energy. And here I am sitting there connecting with these mountains. Again, there was another lot of feathers in a circle. So we had the feathers again. So we're connecting with the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Colleen, stop looking down at the town. Look at the mountains. And she said, I can't help it. Like, I just want to see it all light up again. And I said, no. Our job is to not put energy into anything that has a lower level energy to it. Our job is to focus on this. And we're being given these beautiful mountains to lift us up. Don't focus there. And then what happened, Colleen? What was the lesson?
Then a little red car pulled up with some non-Australian speaking or non-English passengers, and it appeared brother-in-law. Who knows? We had no idea. We're yelling at each other, but shit, it was loud, and it was rough. Now, they may have been whinging over not doing the groceries, or they may have been planning somebody's death, because we couldn't tell, but the energy out of it was not good. And, you know, that just as well we couldn't hear what they were saying, so we have to interrupt so that they didn't kill. It allowed us just to go back and get in the car and drive away.
Mm.
But it was really effectively kicking us out of the lookout. Like, It felt physical, a kick out of the lookout. You know, get on your bike. So we did.
Yep. And
we hit the road
certainly,
again.
you know, driving back from there, it was a lesson in don't focus on lower level energies, because what do you attract? Lower level energies. Right? So again, it was this lessons that we were being given about reading the energy, connecting with the energy. What sort of energy do you want to stay in? What energy don't you want to focus on? That we were being given all along the way. It was just amazing. So that then took us back to, I hope you're all hanging in with us, because I know this has been a bit of a long one. We'll try and get there. We're almost there. Mission complete, back to Narooma and the beach. And that was awesome, because it's like, get your feet in the water, wash this off, you know, and it was just beautiful. So we had the night there at Narooma. And the next morning we got up super early, and that's us waking up beautiful again in the morning. And we had watched this beautiful sunrise in Narooma. And it was just a lovely way to sort of know that we're heading back up the coast again. So it was absolutely fabulous. And just when we thought that the trip was over, it wasn't quite, because we checked out. We went back to that beautiful little juice bar. We thought, let's get another one of those juices. They were awesome. Not even a coffee, did we? Just the juices to head back up. Now, the night before when we went and got dinner, I was really drawn to a little shop there. And I was looking in the window, and in the window was this cheese board, and it had the epoxy with a kookaburra on it, all in my colours. And I said, oh, I love that so much. And Colleen said, save your wallet, you don't need another cheese board. And I went, oh, I really love it. So anyway, we're getting these juices and we're just waiting to be served. And I said to Cole, look, it's a Sunday. Most of the little shops aren't open, but I'm just going to wander up. And most of them were closed, but this little shop was open.
Off to buy my cheese board.
Yeah. But this little shop was open. So I walked in and I was talking to the lady in there, and I said, oh, I'm really interested in that cheese board. She said, oh, I was almost going to take it out because these are hand done, hand painted within the epoxy. So you'll never get another one or two the same. So I said, oh, I was telling her about our energy journey and the divination rods, and, you know, so having this lovely conversation. And then all of a sudden, you can see the picture of the kookaburra, and those who know how attached I am to kookaburras. All of a sudden, as I'm talking to her, a lady stepped in behind her. And I looked at her and I said, Do you have a grandmother in spirit whose name starts with an M? And she said, yes, I do. And then all of a sudden I proceeded to give her lots of information that was coming through from her grandmother. And I said to her, I feel you travelled north further than Sydney. Like, I'm not saying Brisbane, but much further than Sydney to go and see her. And there was an interaction there, but she wants you to know that she knows you were there. Now, what had happened was she'd actually travelled to Newcastle, right, which is past Sydney, travelling up, and she wasn't sure whether her grandmother knew that she was there or not. So it was a really good confirmation for her. The grandmother also wanted her to know that she was looking at expanding a business and that it was a good idea to do that, and she was watching over her. So by the end of this, Colleen's walking in to the shop with our drinks, and she says, oh, you had to give the shop lady a reading. Of course you did. That's why you were drawn by your totem into this shop. And it was just a beautiful experience. All hugs and tears. And, sometimes you just got to speak up with what you get. So whilst we thought the journey was over, it wasn't quite yet. We still had a message for someone. And then as we left, not that I noticed at the time, we had to go back and look for a picture of the store. The bag had on it she, and there was the beautiful feather, which reminded us of our angel feathers, Annie. So I thought, again, look at all the signs and synchronicities. It was just a most amazing journey. And I think
the other thing about the store.
Yeah, go on.
But the other thing about the store, Kerrie, was I don't normally go for the type of clothes that are in there, but I would have worn anything in there. It was divine. The colours were beautiful. Nothing was over the top. Everything was just beautiful and very casual. And when we were looking for this, this created, and the woman that was in the store, it was like this, and it's called she, for God's sake. It's the divine feminine. And
so that connection was
you can't have
super
she.
special. So
yeah,
that's sort of really where we're going to end that. And of course we headed back to Sydney going, wow, we can't believe it's the end of, however many days that we did and how lost we were along the way. But it was a real lesson in, for someone who might like to control things like I do or hold us, in really handing it over to our guides, handing it over to the universe, totally trusting.
Yeah.
And just by trusting the signs, synchronicities, the stories, the cherries, the Heffernan, the ley lines, listening to Rod, it was just the most incredible energy journey. So we'd like to encourage you all to take your own little magical mystery tour.
Yeah.
Trust your guides. Let them direct you. Listen to those conscious conversations. Have a conscious conversation. Listen to the messages that you're getting, because it truly was an extraordinary journey. So there you go.
While you guys were sharing your journey,
and I don't think I've had so many belly laughs.
Yeah, grown-up schoolies. I was just sat here and I pulled some cards. So that's how I would like to just tie this up and finish this off. So the first card that I pulled was clarity. And I think that clarity for you guys and everybody on here is about that surrendering and trusting. Because sometimes when you overthink things, that's when it all goes pear-shaped. So the surrendering and the trusting, the most important information that you're ever going to get is in the spaces between thoughts. And that's where you'll find clarity. The second one that I got was blessings. And if you guys think about the many blessings that you got along the way, and again, there's this connection to the world. And I'm back to my feminine energy here. It's the moon connection and the connection to the world. And blessings are like dreams coming true. And that's what the moon is. It's that blessings bestowed on you around your dreams and hopes. And the last one that I got that I found was really, really interesting is peace. Because there's so much noise and chaos and, you know, like we're never endingly bombarded with either television or emails or business or whatever. And it's just coming at you all the time. So to completely disconnect and surrender and trust, that's your outcome. It brings you peace. When you're sitting under a tree or sitting on a beach or looking out over the top of a mountain, that's the feeling you should get. So I think the message from all of it is disconnect to connect. I think you guys, I couldn't come, but in some ways, like you and Sophia, that was your journey. For you two, this was your journey. I think like Kerrie and I have had lots of journeys where we've got no freaking idea what's happening. We just trust, and somehow or another, it all comes together.
And we do create new songs on our journeys. Like,
we create all sorts of shit on our journeys.
What's sensible got to do with it?
Yeah, but we've got two songs. One of them's What's Sensible Got to Do with It, and the other one is I've done all the dumb things.
Yeah.
But sometimes doing the dumb things is the fun things. And I think when you become a grown-up, I don't like being I'm 70 on Wednesday. Like, fuck off. 70. Big numbers. But I'm cancelling the 0 and I'm just going to be 7. Because imagine, like Tracy said, imagine a road trip with all of us. That was a thought we had. We thought we'd get a bus.
We thought we'd get a bus.
That's exactly what we thought, Tracy.
A bus.
Let's just get a bus.
Get out the rods.
Magical messenger. God knows where we would end up.
Magical mystery tour.
Our partners and husbands would have our pictures on milk cartons saying, if you see this woman. Pia says she's coming back to Australia.
Come back to Aussie to come with us. I think it would be awesome thing to do.
It might take us a while. We could be away a very, very long time. Goodness knows where we would end up.
Look at that. Let's do it. Look, everyone's in, Annie.
It's a bit hard to rock into a
small country
town.
It's Jeanette's mum's just turned 91 and she told everybody she was 10. Good on her.
It's that childlike wonder and excitement that if you tap into it, the world is magical.
Yeah, it's when you come around the corner and there's a beach or an ocean or a mountain and it makes you go, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, so it's that big giant version of Stop and Smell the Flowers. So thank you, Colleen and Kerrie, for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you had such a wonderful time.
We really did. And we really want to encourage everyone else, you know, maybe do it yourself one day. Just follow the signs, follow the synchronicities and take yourself on a little day trip. If you have the divination rods, they make a great GPS telling you to turn left, right, straight ahead, and even when to do a U-turn. So, you know, lots and lots of fun. So I trust, you know, hopefully you get out there and do that too, because it's just so much fun.
Be prepared when their battery runs out and they cut you off.
And I actually I got one here. So guys, most of you or all of you or most of you know about these. They are the seeds of life, but we're calling them the seeds of light. And we have been planting these, you know, infusing them with the energy of raising humanity's consciousness and the consciousness for the planet as a whole. the common consciousness, and also the balancing of Mother Earth, and planting these in the ground just far enough that no one will find them before the equinox on the 21st of March. So this is what we're actually planting in all those sacred spaces and in the places where the energy really needed a boost and a lift back into balance. So that's what we were doing. So if you can see those. And just as a touch on the 21st of March, now we won't be doing an equinox meditation that night. And the reason being that through Kachina via Nate, it was suggested that this particular equinox is going to bring in an energy that is an individual upgrade for each one of us for exactly what we need for the upgrade. So this equinox, what she has suggested is find somewhere that's special to you and spend a little bit of time just on your own for the equinox. Do some breathing, do your own meditation, allow yourself to connect with those incoming energies for the raising of your own personal energy upgrade and alignment to this higher energy. So that's the recommendation for the actual 21st.
There is, however, Nate's thing, his Universal Makes Me thing on the 12th of March that I would suggest if you kick into that one.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll share more too. Yeah.
Thank you all very, very much for being with us. Thank you, Kerrie, and thank you, Colleen, for sharing your journey. We've got guest speaker in the next fortnight. We'll keep that a secret. That'll be a surprise. Oh, he's here.
He's here. Hi, Nate.
There,
there you go. Yes, choose a special place for you and let the energy do its thing. Yep, that's it. Thank you.
So thanks, Nate. But again, the 12th, Nate has his thing that a lot of people have registered for on the 12th. So we'll catch up with you then. Until then, and until we see you again, have a wonderful fortnight. Go out and play. Have fun. We thank you all for being here. Please like and share if you've enjoyed it. We'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
And thank you, Cole.
Love you all. Thank you all.
Okay, bye.
Annie whispers secrets in the night, mystical visions taking flight. Kerrie's got that angel glow so bright, guiding through the dark to the light. Tarot cards spread on the cosmic rug, healing power in a gentle hug. Meditations deep like an ancient grove, finding peace through the stars above. Mind, body, spirit, soul, we rise. Angel feathers falling from the sky, psychic waves in a gentle tide. Let the universe be our guide. Sound healing echoes through the air, lifted hearts with a tender care. Spiritual journeys we embark, lighting flames within the dark. Messages from angels clear and true, whispering love in all we do. Psychic development strong